Okay, good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is the day before Ironman Copenhagen. I've just racked my bike there. Had a practice swim yesterday, had a practice ride this morning and a bit of a run this morning. Course looks fantastic. The water is amazing. A practice swim yesterday I did about 1.2k. It's about 4 foot deep the whole way by the looks of it. Very clear, you can see the bottom. Not too salty, which is fantastic. Lovely swim course. Bike course, again the weather looks good. It might be sort of 18, 19, 20 degrees. Perhaps a bit of cloud, perhaps a bit of drizzle. It's looking almost perfect. And the run, well, the run's just whatever it is, isn't it? It's going to be hot. It's going to be hard work. It's 4 laps. It's all about just grinding out the miles and getting it done. But yeah, just racked the bike. Go and pick up my timing chip now, and then get the metro back to the hotel. So I just dropped my bike off. I'm just walking back through bike transition, just trying to work out how many racks back my bike is, so I know where I'm going when I come out. I think it should almost be by this tent by the looks of it, so it should be pretty good. Yeah, so the bike's in transition. It's got drinks on it, it's got nutrition on it, so it's got to drop off my bike and run bags, which haven't got a lot in them. Run shoes, bike, helmet, race belt, that's about it. Everything else on the bike, I think we're pretty much good to go. So yeah, I'll drop the bags off and then head back to get the train. Okay, that's my red run bag dropped in. That's got my running shoes, socks, hat, sunglasses in. That's all I need in there. A couple of gels to grab and take with me, but that's all. That's dropped off. As soon as I drop the bag in, I'm worried I've not put some socks in it, but I'm fairly sure I have. So that's all I need to do now is drop off my blue bag, which is my bike bag, which just got helmet in, and my race belt. That's all. There we go, blue bag dropped off. That's my bike bag with helmet and race belt in. That's all I need in there. So come out of the swim, run up into these racks, grab the blue bag, go and sit down and get helmet, race belt on, and then head into T1 to pick the bike up. Okay, so all the way back there you can see the swim start. Swim course goes all the way up around these white and yellow buoys up underneath the bridge way over there. Heads off down that way somewhere. One big loop, 1.9k out and back. Back in here by the red M. Can you see that? Yeah, there. Back in by that. Up through the white tent. Grab your blue bag with your bike helmet and your race belt over there. And then head off down that way, pick up your bike and go. I'm all set up, I think. I'm good to go. I've just got to head back to the hotel, eat and rest for the afternoon. Fabulous. It's really warm now. This is the temperature going to be for the run tomorrow, I think. It's going to be fairly cool through the day, through the morning, during the bike, and then probably get quite hot on the run. So it's going to be important to stay really well hydrated throughout the bike. I've got 2 750ml bottles and a 350ml bottle. I've got Mortin 320 in both of my big bottles, and my plan to have is one of those bottles on each lap, and also a bottle of water which I'll pick up and have as I go. Also got a few gels, got some Mortin gels, got some Talk gels, I've got Snickers in there for the hell of it. I'm going to be well fueled up, I think. So yeah, important thing now is to get rested, get fueled up, keep well hydrated, and get a good night's sleep. So how am I feeling the day before race day? Terrified, utterly terrified. Trying to remain calm, but can't help but worry. My calf is completely fine now. I've done a couple of runs on it. Had that tightness 10 days ago or so, no, a week ago. It felt hideous, but the physio, Josh Holman, was spot on, and he said it was a slight strain, 5 to 7 days, and we'd be good to go. And he was right. It feels fine now. I've done a couple of easy sort of 5Ks, one off the bike. Feels great. I know I've missed a couple of long runs and a long ride, which is going to play on my mind, but I've just got to remain positive now. You know, 90% of my training probably has been spot on. I know I've got it in me. I've just got to stay calm, stay positive, not let the demons in my head that tell me I can't do it. Just keep being positive, tick the miles off, hydrate well, eat well, and get this long bike ride done. You know, the course looks ideal for me. Weather looks pretty perfect, and the run is going to be the run is just a mental battle, just to get through, walk the 8 stations, fuel up, and on to the next one, and on to the next one, and just keep going through those 26 miles. But it is what it is now. Race day is here. I'm already excitedly thinking about the next block of training. Marathons I've got coming up in November and December. This is such a cool place, Copenhagen Beach. Look at this. Lovely windsurfing spot. I used to windsurf about 30 years ago. I'd love to give it another try, but perhaps not today, hey? Don't do anything out of the ordinary and all that. Yeah, it's a really nice spot. I'm just going to head back into the merch tent, just check there's nothing I should have bought that I haven't. I can see another accidental purchase coming on, but hey, that's what it's all about. You only get the opportunity to get this merchandise at these events. Postage is far too crazy any other time of year, so whip into the merch tent, see what I can find, and then start heading back to the hotel. Okay, race morning, 6:30. Just put my bike computer on my bike. We are set up, we are ready to go, and I will probably catch up with you after the race. Let's get it! Morning everybody, 2 days post Ironman Copenhagen. I am back home. I completed the race, I got my bike apart, and I got home again. What a day. What a day. Not what I wanted, but equally pleased with my mental strength, I think, to get through it. Not the race I hoped for in many ways, but lots of positives to be had from it. I should probably break it down and go through it. I think it probably starts about a day and a half before the race, really. So the day before, on the Saturday, I obviously had to drop the bike in transition. So we flew there, the bike was in bits, put it back together again. I used my sort of workshop Allen keys to take it apart, and then took my travel set of Allen keys with me on the day, or on the trip. When I was building my bike up again, some of the Allen keys just didn't have the angles to be able to tighten things up fully. I thought I tightened everything up. You'll understand later why I realised I hadn't. So anyway, got the bike built up, took it over to transition, Vicky and I decided to have a big lunch day before the race, and then a lighter dinner. So I had a pizza for lunch, took my bike over to transition, and my gears were playing up. Sounded noisy as hell, sounded like, I don't know what, sounded like something had got twisted or bent, or I don't know what, sounded terrible. Anyway, I took it over to transition, and there was a mechanic station set up. So I checked my bike in there and was hanging around waiting for them. There's a 2-hour delay. They had about 30 bikes in the mechanic station. It's shady here. I think I'll hang out here for a little bit. So yeah, there's about a 2-hour wait for the bikes to be looked at. So I sort of hung about the expo. I didn't have any drink with me. I didn't have any food with me. It was very hot. It was a little bit frustrating, but I knew how to get my bike sorted. When I eventually got back, I planned to be about an hour and a half. When I eventually got back to the hotel, it was about 5 hours later, and I'd gone without food or drink for that time. Anyway, we then went out to try and find dinner. Couldn't find anything we wanted. Ended up having a crappy chicken and bacon club sandwich and some chips, which I didn't enjoy, and I didn't eat a lot of. And I suppose I was starting to stress. Breakfast time, race morning, another point of stress. I didn't have a kettle in the room. Breakfast didn't start till 7:30, and obviously I had to leave the hotel at 6:30. Couldn't find anywhere selling overnight oats, or didn't have a fridge, or really struggling. Ended up in the 7-Eleven about 10 p.m. the night before the race, buying a chia seed pot with rhubarb compote and a chocolate covered sort of muesli bar from the 7-Eleven. Stuck them on the window ledge and then ate them the next morning. Not enough calories. I had those and a large latte and a bottle of energy drink, which was completely not what I'd normally have in any way, shape or form, but I thought it's the best I can do. Anyway, there we go. Get to the race start. On my bike I've got two 750ml bottles of 320 Mortin, and I've got Mortin energy gels, and I've got a Snickers, thanks to a suggestion from the physio Josh. Got into the swim, got started. Swim felt amazing. I loved the swim. Out and back, one big loop. Got plenty of space, didn't get stressed. Heart rate stayed nice and chilled. I did 1 hour and 8 minutes. Sorry, noisy earth moving equipment going past. I did 1 hour and 8 minutes when I really wanted to be closer to the hour, but on the flip side, I felt great. I felt relaxed. Got out, got my wetsuit off easily, found my bag, got on the bike. It was wet and a bit miserable, to be honest, in the morning. It was very overcast. It had been raining all night. The bags had got wet, so when I got my helmet with my visor out of my bag, the visor was already soaking wet, and put it on and visibility was awful straight away. I had nothing dry to wipe it with. Again, I could have thought of that, I suppose. My bag, I could have gone and wiped it clean or put some Rain-X on it, but I've never used that before, so I don't really know. Anyway, got my helmet on. It was misted up. Again, you have to deal with this, as did everyone else. Set off on the bike course. First lap was very wet. Lots of corners, lots of long straights and lots of open sections, but lots of corners with white lines. Obviously you have to be careful across the white lines. 2 loops the bike course in Copenhagen, 2 56-mile loops up the coast. Hillier than I thought, but about the same as Norfolk, to be honest. Shouldn't really have been a problem, but after about 20 miles I noticed I was starting to feel a bit fatigued, and I thought I'd already had I had 2 bottles, as I said, 2 bottles of 320 Mortin energy drink. I planned to have 1 on each lap with another bottle of water that I'd pick up and discard, and also some gels and all other stuff. I was halfway through my first bottle, halfway through the first lap. Decided to have a Snickers as well. Spaced out a couple of gels as well, but I was just feeling really fatigued. I stood up at one point to sort of put a bit of body power up a small hill, and my quads were just suffering like 25 miles in. My quads were already really suffering, I could feel it, and then I thought, when you're halfway through the first lap, you know you've got a marathon to go at the end. The mental game starts taking effect, and I started to think, I can't quit after 1 lap of the bike. That's ridiculous. I feel shattered, but I can't quit. So I thought, get 1 lap done, keep fueling up. Maybe, you know, there's a bit of headwind towards the second half of the first lap, and I thought, well, I'll get into the tailwind of the second lap and hopefully feel a bit better. I didn't. I kept on pushing. I think I was ignoring probably my power targets then, just trying to push because I was fatigued. Heart rate wasn't such a worry. Hamstrings were tight, my neck was getting sore. I just couldn't hold the aero position. I was just fatigued all over. My back was hurting, my neck was hurting, then my hamstrings started hurting. And with about 15 miles to go, I noticed, no, probably about 55 miles to go, thinking about it, I noticed my aero bars were a little bit loose. I mentioned that my Allen keys weren't quite suitable to tighten things up as much as my workshop Allen keys. So anyway, I noticed my aero bars were coming a little bit loose. Not that it was much of a problem, because I couldn't hold aero position. My neck was hurting too much, so I was just on the wing bars, just struggling to get through the bike course, just ultra fatigued. and just thinking, Christ, I've got a marathon to go. And I knew, I really thought about quitting all the way through the bike. I really thought about quitting, and I thought to myself, I can't come all this way here. You know, as soon as you quit, you're done, aren't you? You step off the course, you're done. You know, half an hour later, you might feel good again. You just can't quit. You just got to keep going. And I knew the marathon was going to be a bloody nightmare. With about 10 miles to go on the bike, my gears started playing up. I think probably my rear mech battery was dead. No, earlier than that actually. My wing bar gear blips stopped working for a while, so I had to use my aero bar blips only to change gear. And then with about 10 miles to go, my rear mech just packed up. It would just keep changing down into the little cog at the back of its own accord. I didn't realise at the time, but it's probably a flat battery, and I did actually have a spare battery with me. But I just kept the last 10 miles. To be honest, it took my mind off how bad I was feeling, just trying to find a gear that I could still pedal in. And often it was quite hard gear. It wrecked my legs. It utterly wrecked my legs. And all I could think was, this is going to be a slog of a marathon. I couldn't even run it. So yeah, I got off the bike and just prepared myself for a long sort of death shuffle. And that's what it was. I didn't look at my total time, my estimated finish time, time of day, mile paces, anything. I just thought, just damage limitation, just get the 26.2 miles done one way or the other. Just tick the miles off. Run when you can, walk when you can, walk the hills, walk the aid stations, just get to the finish line in one piece. It sounds dramatic, but it's such a tough day. 26 miles is a hell of a way to walk. Anyway, eventually we got through the first lap, second lap, third lap, fourth lap. What an amazing city Copenhagen is. The support is incredible and the city is incredible. The sights take your mind off the pain as you go around. It's such an amazing place. I loved Copenhagen, but the race spat me up and chewed me up and spat me out. It really did. But yeah, eventually got to the finish line, got my t-shirt, got my medal, collected my bike, collected all my stuff. The people are incredible. All the volunteers on course, utterly brilliant. I loved it. But yeah, it tore me a new one. It really did. When I finished, I was quite relieved, to be honest, to see that, more earth movers, bear with. I was quite relieved to see that I was still sub 12. I did 11:51, I think. I've not even particularly checked. I did 11:51 against a target of, ideally I wanted sub 10. I knew with the last month I lost a week due to arthritis in my shoulder. Then about a week later I lost 4 or 5 days due to the calf pain I had. So the last 3 or 4 weeks had knocked my target of a sub 10 back to realistically sub 11. I think I like to think if I could be inside 11, 10:59, I'd have been pretty pleased with that based off the last month. And I got 11:51, so it's not disastrous. It's not disastrous. The main thing is I got through it and I got finished. My marathon time was 4:58, which is just, it's a tough old 5 hours, a marathon. But what I'm really pleased with is the mental strength that I didn't quit. And it would have been so easy to quit 1,000 times. Quitting would have been just like dead easy. I could have had a more serious mechanical. I could have slipped on a white line. I saw lots of guys having punctures. Quitting would have been so easy. And then come home with my bike and no medal and no finisher's t-shirt. I do feel a bit of a fraud because I basically did a 5-hour marathon and I walked the majority of it. But I know it's just a bad day. And you get these, and it's the old saying to this sort of sport, if you have a bad day on that one day, you can't do it all again the next day. You've got to, look at what went wrong, make some improvements, plan ahead a few months, a year for the next one, and start working on those individual points to make things better the next time round. So I mean, while I was waiting to pick up my bike, I was talking to a lady who had done Ironman Kalmar in Sweden, and that's a potential for next year. I mean, that was my third Ironman. I love doing it, but it was a tough old day. And yes, I will 100% be doing another one, and I'll 100% be carrying on my goals for where I want to be. I mean, when I did my first Ironman 2017, I did 11:45. So 2023, I've done 11:51, 6 years later. And the following year, 2019, I did 10:26. So perhaps next year I can be back in the 10s again. Readjusting my goals, probably. Quitting, definitely not. A bit frustrated, yeah, I suppose I am frustrated that a few simple, a bit of simple pre-planning here and there. I learned a lot. You know, it's a big old day to have some issues. There's not a lot you can do about it. I learned a lot, and we go again. But that will probably wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. If you were there, if you took part, if you raced or spectated or whatever, let me know how you got on. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you very, very soon. Here's a Finishers t-shirt. Enjoy the photos, and I'll catch you later. Bye.